Why is it not working? Okay, cool. It looks like okay. All right. So remember, Aaron and Bear just found out that he's working with Shoshana, and they're not a fan of that. And like they're like, whatever. And now Shoshana's digging through Mr. Solway's stuff to find some actual things and not just, recordings of him. So they're like, he was talking about, like a whole house full of stuff in the one closet in the page. I don't know if it should be 118. And let me see where we're at. Yeah, we'll just stop at the top of the page on 118 at good idea, okay? Good idea, I agree. Mr. Saltway peers into another box. Son of a gun! I was wondering what I did with my 32-piece ratchet set. Okay, he lives in a retirement community. He literally has no need for a ratchet set. So, crazy man. I look at him, standing up and walking on his own, even bending over to see inside the cart. It's hard to believe this is the same Mr. Solway that I first met, struggling on the walker and never even bothering to open the blinds to let some light into his gloomy room. So that's exciting that these young people bringing and coming to see him has kind of like brought some life back to him. Maybe when his wife died and he moved into Portland Street, he lost focus because everything in his life used to revolve around her. But now that Shoshana and I are coming over to work on the video, he's totally different. He wants to present himself well on camera, so he shaves, dresses well, stands straighter, and walks better. According to the nurses, his appetite has improved at mealtimes. We dig around some more, moving stuff out of the closet and unpacking boxes until the floor is covered in knickknacks. We do find a few things we can use in the video. Black and white photographs from the barracks in Korea, the Solway's wedding picture in a double frame with one from their 50th anniversary, his old military dog tags, another set belonging to a buddy who was killed in the war. We've got enough, but Shoshana is like a bloodhound, on her hands and knees in the closet, running her hand along the baseboard. What are you doing back there? Mr. Solway asked. Drilling for oil? She reaches behind a golf bag, draws out a navy blue velvet jewelry box of an odd triangular shape, embossed with embossed. That just means like embroidered. In the silver on the lid is a great seal of the United States. You found my medal, Mr. Solway exclaims in amusement. Glowing with discovery, Shoshana flips open the cover. The box is empty. Mr. Solway frowns. It must have fallen out. Shoshana and I give the closet floor a thorough inspection. No medal. She has a question. Mr. Solway, when was the last time you wore your medal? In this place, he's sarcastic. Lots of state occupations here. Wheelchair races, canasta games, colonoscopists. What about before that? Before you moved here? He cast a wiry glint. I get you. What if an old crazy cougar packed up an empty case of a medal he lost 20 years ago? No, don't apologize. It's a valid question. The answer is I never wore. Not that I was ashamed of it, but I didn't feel right. Like I'd be saying, look how great I am. I've got a better medal than you. Any dimwit can win a Purple Heart. My wife used to take it out once a year on Veterans Day. And when I refused to wear it, she'd polish it up and put it away again. Maybe one time she misplaced it. She was confused towards the end. It's possible. He retreats to his easy chair and sits in silence. Talking about his wife makes him sad. We quit filming early in order to leave out subjects with his memories. I love Mr. Solway, but he's pretty weird, Shoshana says as we cross the lobby heading to the exit. He won his country's highest honor and basically ignores it. People were different back then, I offer. More modest. Yeah, sure, modest. But to care so little that you don't even bother to open up the case to see if the medal is still there and then hide it in the back of your closet behind a golf bag, you've got to be a real oddball. We're going through the sliding doors, which might be why she doesn't notice that I stagger for a split second. Missing medal, empty case buried under tons of junk. Mr. Solway's medal wasn't lost. It was stolen. Somebody pocketed it and tossed the case or it'd be hard to find. Who would do such a thing? There are plenty of possibilities. Portland Street is a busy place with big staff, doctors, nurses, attendants, service people. There were painters in recently. It could have been one of the other residents or even a visitor. But as I run my mind over a range of suspects, an image keeps forcing itself in front of my eyes. I see a $20 bill in Miss Swanson's shaky hand. I see greedy fingers snatching it away. Bear and Aaron gloating over the pizza it would buy. Of course, there's a big difference between $20 and a decorated award to a war hero to honor his bravery above and beyond the call of duty. But somebody greedy enough to take money from a confused old lady who thinks she's tipping room service, how could a guy like that pass up a chance to get his hands on something far more valuable? I must turn pale because Shoshana regards in a concern. Are you okay? You look like you're about to faceplant. I'm fine. I'm so not fine, but I keep my mouth shut. What kind of friend am I to instantly suspect Aaron Barron of stealing Mr. Solway's medal? What kind of friends are they that it's so easy for me to believe they did this? Two hard questions followed by the third. What should I do now? Okay, so let's all take 5 seconds right here. So previously in the story, we heard from Aaron and Bear, and they were talking back and forth about this thing that, was super, super secretive. And they think that, maybe he doesn't have amnesia and maybe Chase is just keeping it for himself. Oh my God. So, and now Chase is thinking that they stole the medal. Well, guess who was really good friends with Aaron and Bear before he got amnesia? Chase. So that means if Aaron and Bear stole the medal for real, guess who also stole the medal? Chase. Does Chase remember stealing it? No. So now they're all going to be tiptoeing around each other trying to find out more information. Or maybe they didn't steal it at all and maybe it was a painter or something like that. We don't really know yet. So, chapter 15, Brendan Espinazo, who I love. I love Brendan in this story. Of all the video clubs in middle school, she has to walk into mine. The minute Kimberly Tooley showed up in Miss Delo's room, I lost it. Love at first sight. For me. Unfortunately, not for her. I mean, she's in love all right with Chase. A few months ago, it would have been easy for me to hate Chase, but he's a different person since his accident, and the more I get to know him, the more I like him. Now, what am I supposed to do? Hate someone I like because of pure jealousy? That's just unfair as when Chase used to pick on me. Maybe more, since he truly seems to have no idea that Kimberly likes him. How annoying is that? I'd lie down on a railroad track for an ounce of her attention, and here's Chase, totally oblivious to the fact that she's practically drooling over him. Exactly how hard did this kid fall on his head? So Brendan's obsessed with Kimberly. Kimberly's obsessed with Chase. Chase is like oblivious. Which, if someone has a crush on you, but you don't have a crush on them, it is really easy to be like oblivious that they like you because, like, if you don't like them back, then you're just you don't really pay any mind. You just think, eh. And remember, he just met Kimberly again, so he has no idea how she acts. Maybe Chase is saying, "Oh, that's how she acts." So I've got Kimberly in my video club. Okay, I don't own it, but I am the president. It's a golden opportunity for me to make an impression on her. And who's sucking all the air out of the room? Our rising star, Chase. I've got no one but myself to blame. I recruited him. I raved about his camera skills. When the others wanted to keep out, I shouted them down. Slowly but surely, they all began to accept and appreciate him. Even Shoshana isn't quite as anti-Chase anymore. Their project on Mr. Solway is coming out fantastic. I've seen some of their footage, and it's going to blow the judges away. Their biggest problem is they're shooting so much great material, it's going to be impossible to figure out what to cut. And that opens an opportunity, with Shoshana and Chase wrapped up in their war hero and others focused on the video yearbook. All I have to do is get Kimberly to work with me on a new clip for YouTube. Then she'll start to see me as a famous YouTuber I'm designated to be, not the 8th grade nerd she finds so less interesting than Chase. It's foolproof. No, she says. Why not? I wheeled. It'll be a great chance for you to practice your camera work. Is it for the yearbook? It's way better. It's for YouTube, and your name will be right on top of its co-producer. No, she says again. In total desperation, I blurt, Chase is going to be there. The change is instant. Really? Guess what? She's in. Now all I have to do is convince Chase to sign on with us. Come to think of it, the purpose of this is to turn her off of Chase and onto me. I don't think I'm going about it the right way. The whole romance thing is way more complicated than I anticipated. But when I approach Chase, he's not enthusiastic either. I don't have a lot of free time, he tells me. Shoshana and I are really busy with Mr. Solway. I'm pleading now. You got to help me out. Kimberly begged me to take her along, and you know how lousy she is with the camera. If you don't come, the whole video is going to be upside down. Okay, so Brendan is basically just walking himself in silly circles. Do you need something? Oh, okay. I thought you were going to come walk towards me. So remember, he wants to hang out with Kimberly. So he tries to hang out with Kimberly. Kimberly says no, but then he's like, oh, Chase will be there. Okay, well, the whole point was for him to hang out with Kimberly and not with Chase. So there's that. And now Chase is like, I don't have time. And he's saying that Kimberly's the one that wanted to do the video. No, she did it. So Brendan is just being all types of silly little white lies going on for Brendan. He sighs, all right, Brendan, I'll be there. By now, the project is leaving a bad taste in my mouth. Luckily, I have an amazing idea. It's called Leaf Man. I know that when Kimberly sees me starring in this, she'll be impressed. It could well be the video that finally takes me viral. We meet in the park the next day after school. I've got everything we need: a morph suit, rollerblades, 11 bottles of pancake syrup. I don't know who needs 11 bottles of pancake syrup unless you're having a giant pancake breakfast. And if you don't know what a morph suit is, it's one of those like what?
It's like a green screen.
Yeah, it's like a green screen suit since Evan just blurring it out. It's just one of those suits that it completely turns you one color. And there's all different colors. They were like all the rage a few years ago for like Halloween and stuff. But basically, you put on this suit and you're just one color. That's all it is. And so he's got rollerblades, a morph suit, and 11 bottles of pancake syrup. Like, what on earth are we going to do with 11 bottles of pancake syrup? I don't know. Okay. I hand Kimberly camera 1 and Chase camera 2, although I'm pretty sure Chase's footage will be the real video. Anything usable Kimberly shoots will be a happy accident. I duck behind the trees and take out my morph suit. To my dismay, it's white. I specifically told Mom to get black. I'm going to look like a bowling pin in front of Kimberly, but it's too late to fix that now. Okay, so now he has a white morph suit, so he's going to look like a ghost. I put on the suit and the rollerblades and glide back to Chase and Kimberly. All right, you guys, dump the syrup all over me. Okay, I don't know who needs syrup poured on top of themselves, but Brendan just has the craziest ideas, I swear. It cracks me up. If the goal is to get Kimberly to notice me, mission accomplished. Why? She asked, wide-eyed. I point to the far end of the park to a giant mountain of leaves the gardeners had blown into the corner. I cover myself with sticky syrup and rollerblade down the hill into the leaves. And when I come out, it's Leaf Man. She's bewildered. Who's Leaf Man? I'm Leaf Man. All the leaves are going to be stuck to the syrup. See? And the video is going to be called Leaf Man. So, Chase takes pity on me. It's going to be awesome. He opens one of the bottles and pours a thick stream over my head. Even through the morph suit's fabric, it feels gooey and gross. The things I do for my art, and Kimberly, of course, although doesn't seem to be working too well. 11 bottles later, I'm covered in the stuff and starting to draw flies. All right, let's do this. So he literally covered himself in sticky syrup and is literally just going to jump into a pile of leaves. Well, he's going to rollerblade into it, not jump. And then he's going to be covered in leaves and he's going to be Leaf Man. And like, who thinks of this? Okay, don't try it at home. He's just silly. Confession, I'm not the greatest rollerblader in the world, and I can't get up the hill. I keep rolling back farther than I make it forward. They had to haul me to the top, Kimberly dragging me by my waist and Chase pushing me from behind. We get some strange looks, although nowhere near the number we're bound to attract when we shoot the actual video. So there's someone covered in sticky brown syrup in a white morph suit being pushed up a hill. Like, what on earth is going on in this world? I don't know. Like, he's got some crazy ideas, okay? Crazy. Production is put on hold a few minutes while my camera people wash the stickiness off their hands and get into position by the leaf pile. At last, Chase flashes me the high sign, and I ease my weight off my foot brake and sense the slope starting to move me slowly forward. The slowly part doesn't last long. The acceleration happens much faster than I expected. In a few seconds, I'm hurtling down the path in a dizzying speed. Proper rollerblade form says I should crouch for better balance, but I'm too scared to bend my locked knees. I can actually feel the G-force forming the syrup on my face into a thin stream. With a sinking heart, I realize that this video may go even more viral than I thought. Not as Leaf Man, but as kid breaks every bone in his body, go drenched rollerblade stunt. Through the brownish film of syrup, I spot Kimberly and Chase on the other side of the mountain of leaves. Flip cams pointed at me. At least Chase is pointed at me. Kimberly seems to be filming the air above her head. Then they're gone, and all I can see is the leaf pile barreling towards me. I'm sorry, disgusting. Kimberly, box of rocks, okay? Like, what is she doing? She's filming nothing, okay? Okay. As soon as I breathe, I finish the script by thrusting a fist into the air and bellowing, "Leaf Man!" I never quite get the second syllable out because I am bowled over by a big golden retriever who climbs on top of me looking at the syrup. I can already hear the chorus of barking and know that every dog in the park is heading in my direction. At least they'll keep the flies at bay. I struggle up and try to skate away, but the wheels on my blades are jammed with syrup-soaked leaves. I take 3 clumsy steps before landing on my face when I immediately buried under a canine swarm. I am gratified to see Chase is still filming, his hands steady, even though he's doubled over with hilarity. I don't get it, Kimberly says over the dog slurping. Is this supposed to be funny? The amazing thing is that after all this, I still like Kimberly just as much as before. Maybe even more. Love isn't just blind, it is totally stupid. I skipped a whole paragraph. Where?
Yeah. I hit the leave with.
Okay, I buried on top. Okay, he's inside a mountain. Okay, regardless, it did not change what happened. He's in the pile of leaves, okay? I didn't describe how he ended up in the pile of leaves. Regardless, he ended up in a pile of leaves. He's Leaf Man! Woo! And now he's being attacked by dogs because the dogs are like, syrup! So, this poor kid, and now he can't even go anywhere because his rollerblades are stuck with leaves, filled with sticky leaves. Oh my god, literally, I could read that over and over. Cracks me up. Love it. All right, chapter 16. Shoshana Weber. And, poor Mr. Brendan's in love with Kimberly, who literally doesn't even think it's funny, okay? If I saw someone rollerblading covered in syrup and leaves, I feel like I would think it was funny, but it's whatevs. Joel is more miserable than ever at Melton Conservatory. I was hoping he'd start to settle in a little better, but he just isn't happening. He calls home every night and talks to Mom and Dad and me for hours on end. Most of the time, he doesn't even complain. He just grills us about everything that's going on in Hiwassee without him. I can tell he's so homesick, it's tearing him into two. The other night, he Skyped in just to watch me give Mitzi, our Cocker Spaniel, a bath. Mitzi has gotten loose that afternoon, and when she came home, she'd been covered in crushed leaves and some kind of syrup or honey. So poor Mitzi was one of the dogs that was attacking Brendan. Like, man. Which, I don't know if you guys have. Well, I'm sure you have a pet at home. Could you imagine getting syrup in any type of pet? It would be like,
Oh my god, I did.
it would be a mess.
I did.
It took 3 soapings and a half an hour to comb to get her clean. Joel stayed on the line for the whole thing and helped me talk her through it. He even refused to go down to the dining hall for dinner. This was the kid who formerly wouldn't be in the same room with Mitzi just because she made him sneeze. I don't dare mention my project with Mr. Solway to Joel. If he asks who I'm working with, I'm not going to lie, but how can I tell him? And he'll see right through me if I try to fudge on my answer. Oh, just some new kids. Twins can read each other, even from miles away. The hard part is Video Club is the one thing that Joel asks about the most. I give him updates on the progress we're making with the video yearbook. I provide play-by-play on Brendan's pathetic attempt to get Kimberly truly to notice him. These days, that's the only thing that gets a laugh out of Joel. I work very hard not to say anything that might lead him to ask a question I can't give him an answer to. He's come close a few times. Joel, did you ever look into entering the national video contest? Shosh, tons of homework in 8th grade. So she's saying, oh, I'm too busy with homework, even though she's not too busy with homework. That's what it comes down to between us. I don't lie, but I don't tell the truth either. It's sad because my project with Mr. Solway has turned into the biggest thing in my life. We should have been done 2 weeks ago. We've already have so much material that we could cut it off anytime and still have more than we ever could use. But it goes beyond just great interviews we're getting. We're really made friends with that old guy. Most of the time, we're barely working anymore. We take him out for walks. He treats us to lunch. We had a picnic once. Chase and I have really bonded with him. There. I said it. Chase and I. Remember, oh snap. She can't be friends with Chase. Chase is the reason that her family is tore apart. And just think, like, her parents don't know she's hanging out with Chase. Do you think they'd be happy? Probably not, okay? Because Chase is such a bully to poor Joel. And Joel had to leave. And man, this book is like one of my faves. I just like to let you know that, okay? It's one of my faves. Just like Mr. Solway has become part of my life, so is the kid that Joel and I call Alpha Rat. To be honest, I hardly even think of him by that nickname anymore. I want to. I know it's an act of Weber family loyalty, and I'm on board with that. I could give a college level synopsis on all the reasons why Chase used to be the rattiest rat ever to drag his rat tail through the primordial ozone. That's not the point. There's no question he was rattier than. The problem is he isn't ratty anymore. He's like a version 2.0 of himself with the bad stuff written out of the programming. He isn't even bad when it comes to beta and gamma rats. They're doing community service at Portland, so we run into them here and there. The three of them still act like friends, but there's definitely some kind of tension in the group. I can't tell if it's Aaron and Bear who are weary of Chase or Chase who's weary of those two. Maybe it's simpler than that. If the biggest jerks form a club, everything starts to fall apart when one of them isn't quite so jerky anymore. There's only one explanation, and it's about as unchased as you can get. He's nice. I thought he was showing his inner bully when he pulled the football team off Brendan that time, but I was wrong. I sure haven't seen any signs of that from him. The biggest indicator of how much Chase has changed is that the way he is with Mr. Solway. The Solways never had kids, so Chase has become almost a grandson to the old guy never had. At first, I think Chase was just impressed by the Medal of Honor recipient, but it's gone way beyond that now. As much as Mr. Solway likes me too, the real bond is between him and Chase. I'll always be your friend, and occasionally when Mr. Solway says, Mustard Solway forgets your girlfriend. The first time he called me that, Chase turned the color of a mature eggplant. I'll bet I was even darker purple than that. She's not my girlfriend, Mr. Solway, Chase mumbled in embarrassment. She's just. And he clammed up again because he was about to say a friend, but he was afraid I'd get mad at him. Back then, I probably would have. I'm not sure about it today. We're in video club together, I supplied. Remember, old people, they don't always know totally full facts. So he's just like, oh, yeah, Chase is your girlfriend, like. They're not girlfriend, boyfriend. And in fact, they used to be like enemies. So you can imagine they were probably both really embarrassed. And Mr. Solway's like, your girlfriend. But yeah. The old guy rolled his eyes. You keep telling yourself that. Just because Mr. Solway is no longer the hermit of Portland Street doesn't mean he's the sweetness and light. He's still a pretty crusty guy who speaks his mind and doesn't worry about who might disagree with him. He barks arguments at TV news commentators he believes are idiots and watches sitcoms with a straight face to prove they're not funny. He convinces that the Hubble Space Telescope is fake and the pictures it sends back are created in Hollywood studio films. He's stringing a necklace out of grout pills he refuses to take. It's his plan to present it to the going-away present to Nurse Duncan, who he drives her crazy so much that she'll quit. Come on, Mr. Solway, Chase Clydes. You like Nurse Duncan. She's good to you. She's incompetent, is the growled reply. I don't have gout. I have a sore foot once in a while. Let's see how much tap dancing she's doing when she's my age. So basically, Mr. Solway is still ornery old guy, even though he has Chase and Shoshana in his life. Yes. What are you supposed to be doing? I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be reading after ReadWorks, because this is reading RTI. It's not work on math time. So after you finish your ReadWorks, read a book. If you're in Mrs. Siddick's. Or I don't know what Mrs. Jones's class is doing, but read a book if you're done with whatever you were doing. Okay, well, you should probably read because it's reading RTI. How did you rewrite an ending of a book so fast?
Because we just had to write a paragraph, and I knew the book.
Okay, regardless, read a book. We're in reading RTI, friends. He's entertaining, but he can be exhausting too. Sometimes Mr. Solway even exhausts himself and falls asleep in our faces. When that happens, Chase puts the blanket over him, and we tiptoe out. On this particular day, we decided to grab a snack and screen our video footage. I suggest frozen yogurt at Haven on Ice. The words are out of my mouth before I remember what happened the last time we were in that place together. He looks worried, so I add, I promise not to dump anything over your head. Haven on Ice is just a few blocks away. We load up Sundays, pick a corner booth, and start to preview the day's efforts on flip cams. It's good stuff. Mr. Solway is ranting about how the designated hitter has ruined baseball, so we're both holding back laughter as we watch. We already have enough footage for 5 videos. I can't shake the feeling that we're going back for more just because we don't want it to end. Chase is having the same thoughts. I'm going to keep visiting Mr. Solway even after we finish. I'll come with you. My response is instant, even though I have no idea I was going to say that. Josh? I look up, and there's my mother in line at the register carrying a small frozen yogurt cake. Suddenly, an expression of utter horror spreads across her face. Mom, what's wrong? Then I realized she just recognized the person I'm with. Our heads together as we watch the tiny flip cam screen. Hey. What up? I do. If you give me 1 second, I will tell you. I never told anyone in my family who my partner is for the video contest, so I know how this must seem to my mom, that I'm cozied up practically cheek to cheek with the horrible bully that made Joel's life unbearable and forced him out of town. It's not what I look like, I blurt. Her expression is caved to stone. The car's outside. I'll drive you home. But Mom, I said, get in the car. Chase stands up. Mrs. Weber. She's been quiet up to now, but being addressed directly by Chase is too much for her. How dare you speak to me? She screeches, her entire body shaking. Everyone in my family is off limits to you. If I had it my way, you and your filthy friends would be in juvenile hall. I speak up again. This is my fault, not his. If you have to blame someone, blame me. I am blaming you. She hustles me out the door, tossing over her shoulders at Chase. Stay away from my daughter. Can't we talk about this? I plead. Oh, we'll talk about this, she agreed. Trust me. By the time we're through, your ears will be blistered. We're halfway home before either of us realize that she never paid for the frozen yogurt cake. Oh, snap. Okay, we're going to stop there. We will continue reading tomorrow. Have a good day, guys. See you in Math RTI or in reading class. Well, she didn't mean to steal.